Kent could write a story about frogs falling in love and I would genuinely eat it up. A lot of inspo from drag queens and we look kind of like we're getting ready to get into drag, and that's pretty much what we're doing. When you think you have it smoked out, smoke it out more. Do you look insane? Yes, of course, but that's part of it. Book tropes you hate. I feel like friends to lovers, you don't wanna your friend off the bat. If you think you're not gonna like something, just try it and shut up. Hi, welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Lauren. I'm a lover of all things books, home, and beauty. Today, I'm gonna show you guys how I get this makeup look. A lot of you guys on my Instagram and TikTok have asked me for a makeup tutorial, specifically eyeshadow and eye looks. So in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how to get this eye look. We go over the lip. I didn't do a full foundation routine because that would make this video really, really long. But if you guys want a full foundation routine, comment down below. But yeah, I'm gonna show you guys how I get this makeup. This is pretty much the same makeup look I do every time I'm filming, or I want it to look seamless on TikTok, Instagram. By the way, if you're not following me on TikTok or Instagram, here is my TikTok, here is my Instagram. My Instagram is lit by Laurin. We have so much freaking fun over there. My TikTok is Laurin Elexis. I also have a spam page called Laurin Yaps. You guys are gonna be the first to know. It's just me literally being a crazy person, but I'm gonna try to post more makeup tutorials over there because the girlies have requested, and the girlies requested and asked, I'm gonna give it to you. If you guys wanna know how I get this look, then keep on watching. Okay, so I already did my foundation, my cream bronzer, then I set that stuff with powder. So I'm just gonna run through what I used. If you guys want a full in-depth video on that, let me know because I have severe cystic acne. And I have really bad acne scars. We embrace it, we love it, I'm not complaining. I love my skin, I'm grateful for it. But it takes a lot longer if I'm gonna do my filming makeup to cover up all that. So this is what I used off camera. I love the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. Stunning. I've been literally obsessed with this for like 12 years. And then a new fave, new as in the past couple years, if I like something, I like it, is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. And I know this is expensive, it's silly. I wore this on my wedding, it's so worth it. I mix these two, I love it. This is really expensive. This is a dupe for this. Not as good, but I mix these together. But that's the foundation I used. For concealer, I used two different kinds. I like the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I like the Too Faced Born This Way Concealer. And then for cream contour, I use the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzing Duo. The cream, and then I set everything with powder. I use the Wet n Wild powder, loose setting powder. And I also use the Laura Mercier, but I really, really love this when I'm filming because it just gives me like, not a sheen, but just like a thicker vibe. So love that. Yeah, that is what I used off camera. So that's what you're seeing on my face. I haven't done my faux freckles. We'll get to that in the end. I'm gonna include that in this video because it's my filming makeup and it'll make your skin look more skinny. But right now, I'm caked up, which is how I like it. I'm either no makeup, crazy girl, or I'm caked up. And you don't have to do this step. That's why I did it off camera because not everybody has super cystic acne. It has a lot of things they want to cover, but that's just me. So I'm just gonna be honest and tell you guys, these are my products. If you guys want an acne coverage foundation routine, I will do that because I know some girlies have acne scars and they just want a full mug. But I always go in skin first. That's just what I like. Even if I'm doing something smoky, I do skin first. So our skin is ready. I set everything with a powder. I haven't set with any setting spray, but this is where we're at. Okay, this is super important for before I start my eyeshadow. I take my Patrick Ta, I already did this by the way, take my Patrick Ta bronzer that I used on my face, and I will take like a little brush and I'll do, not nose contour, but I'll just connect my bronzer into the arch of my eyeshadow. But again, if you guys wanna see like a whatever, I'll have to do that in a separate video because it'll take so long. But after I do that, I already have like a little bit of shadow in my inner thing. I don't know if you guys can see. Got a little shadow going in here. Also, I look scary. I have no eyebrows. Don't judge me. So, the next step, also, my makeup stuff is dirty. This is not aesthetic, is I'll go in with the Essence bronzer palette. This is Better Than Vacation Tan. That is the colors, and you can see she's very ugly, but this is what she looks like. Very ugly, very real. I go in with this shade down here because I'm really tan right now. For me. So I'll go in with this shade, which is the darkest one. Take a fluffy brush. This is a Morphe brush. She is a veteran at this point. You'll take a fluffy brush, and I'm looking down at my whatever, and you're gonna just go into the arch. It's gonna work it in the crease. I'm super messy with this because I like my eyeshadow blown out when I'm filming videos, so I'll take it in the crease work it into where you had the Patrick Ta bronzer. And I mean, you'll go wide. And when you're doing this, before everything's connected, you'll see later, it's ugly before it's pretty. You know what I mean? So you're just gonna work that out. This is taking me back to the YouTube days. Oh my God. You're gonna work it out until you literally feel like you look stupid. I also will start like most pigment, keep it in my arch, and then I'll take remainder of like what's on this brush and I'll work it on my eyelid. So it's not as heavy on the eyelid, but I'll literally work it down that eyelid if you can see that I'm doing that. I can like pretty much do this in my sleep. And then I'll wing it out with what's left. So do you see how that literally looks like crazy? Also, keep a brush like this around and just swoop it. This is what we're doing, okay? We're gonna do it on the other eye, and I'm gonna start answering some of these questions I have for my Instagram. First question from Bookish Blonde, my bestie, Kaylee. Literally, she's my book bestie, my nail girl, and my lash client. Yeah, love her, obsessed with her. Kaylee says, what are your favorite Rena Kent characters? Hey, all of them. Matter of fact, where's everybody from? Literally all of them. But I will say if I had to pick like a fave, Killian was the first one I met, and at that point I was like, oh my God, Killian's literally like my favorite, but my number one Rena Kent character is gonna be Nikolai Sokolov. It's gonna be Nico. It's gonna be specifically Nico and Bran, because I'm sorry, like, I want to get a freaking tattoo for God of Fury because it's literally that good. But yeah, it's gonna probably be Nico and Bran because like nothing compares to their story like at all for me. But yeah, Nico and Bran, freaking obsessed. Jeremy Volkov. Yes, I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him, I love him. Jeremy Volkov is up there. I love Cecily. Honestly, I've only read The Legacy of Gods. I've read Kiss the Villain, freaking love Gareth, freaking love Cade, freaking love Kane, freaking love, I'm trying to think. Oh my God, Eli. I literally love all of them. Like, I can't pick, but if I had to pick a favorite, it would be Nico and Bran for sure. I'll just do like a dual package because their entire story, like I was actually crying in the club and sobbing. So yeah, I'm obsessed. Rena Kent could write a story about frogs falling in love and I would genuinely eat it up. Also, back to the eyeshadow. Do you see how we look insane? Do you see how we look scary? It's gonna look really scary. My makeup, I tell my clients this all the time. I do bridal makeup, by the way. That's not a question, but I'll tell you guys. I've done bridal makeup, special event makeup, used to do proms and homecomings. I don't really do that anymore. And I'm also taking a step back from bridal makeup because that's a whole nother topic for another video. I can make a video about what I do, how I got into makeup. Not that I actually am qualified. I was about to say, not that I'm qualified. I am a licensed cosmetologist. I've had multiple makeup certifications. And I've been doing this for like 12 years. So I have a little bit of an advantage, but this is my personal makeup and this is just how I like to do things. I like to get it very scary. I take a lot of inspo from drag queens. I feel like the drag community is where all of the makeup trends start and then they funnel down to the rest of us. And I think we need to give some respect. I grew up on RuPaul's Drag Race. Loved it. And honestly, shout out to them. I don't know why I started talking about drag queens, but I always just feel like no one ever recognizes drag queens and how much of an impact they have had on the makeup community. Now that I gave my respect to my drag queens who I love, and we look kind of like we're getting ready to get into drag, and that's pretty much what we're doing. You're gonna take like a tiny little bullet brush and you're gonna dip into that same color. And this is what I do, even if I'm doing a cool toned eye look, I won't use this bronzer, but this is what I use most of the time. So I'm gonna take a little bullet brush and we are gonna smoke it out on our lower lash line. And again, this is gonna be another moment where you're like, oh, I look a little crazy. When you think you have it smoked out, smoke it out more. This is going to look insane, but when we do our blush and everything, just trust me. So you guys asked, I'm gonna show you. And this is my personal makeup. This is what looks good on my face. This is what eats down for me every time. If I'm feeling like a little ugly duckling, I do this makeup and I'm like, hey, am I ugly? No, I'm slay. So yeah, this is how I do it. But I literally do not do it super neat. Oh my God. And always keep a brush right here because this bronzer, specifically this palette, it falls out like a lot, but I just like it. It's really easy and I use it all the time. So you're gonna blow it out like this. Do you see that? Do you look insane? Yes, of course, but that's part of it. So that's what we have going on there. We're gonna do the other eye and I'm gonna get to the next question. Okay, the next question, Kaylee asked me 3 questions. I love you, I love you. So the next question she asked was, book tropes you hate? Honestly, I'm gonna say it. I don't hate it as much anymore. I've read a couple that I love, but it's gonna be friends to lovers. I feel like if you're in the friend zone, unless it's an MM romance, love an MM friends to lovers, but I feel like that is because it's like a sexual awakening situation. You know what I mean? Like I like that, but I feel like friends to lovers, if you don't wanna your friend off the bat, then it's like, it's hard for me. It's hard to make it like interesting for me. But I have read a couple friends to lovers, like Powerless by Elsie Silver. Loved that friends to lovers, but still it wasn't my favorite of the series. I don't hate it, but I don't really like it. Something I don't hate yet again, because I don't hate any book tropes, but I just don't freaking like it. I don't like a pregnancy thrown in situation unless it's done right. Again, Elsie Silver can do no wrong. She did it very well, but I don't like when it's like a forgotten child or something. It's not that I hate it, I just, again, don't love. Another one I'm just not obsessed with is Golden Retriever Men. No, I like a psychopath. I like a man who's obsessed with his woman, don't get it twisted, but just like a happy-go-lucky golden retriever man, which is so funny because I have 2 golden retrievers, but they're my babies. I don't want my man to be a golden retriever. I like a German Shepherd man. I like a Doberman man, you know what I mean? But again, it can be done right, like God of Fury. Nico is a demented golden retriever. You know what I mean? Even like Lights Out, everyone's like, Josh, he's such a green flag. I even didn't really like how much of a green flag Josh was. I liked it and it was funny, but like, again, I wasn't gagged over it. So those are things I don't like. I don't really love friends to lovers. I don't really love a golden retriever. I like a messed up man. I like, you know, a crazy man, you know, and also the pregnancy thing. I just feel like it's unfair to some of the parties and unfair to the child, and I don't know. Those are things I don't really love. But yeah, we are done with the lower lash line. We're moving on. Okay, we're having an Alani Nu break. By the way, this is the new flavor cotton candy. I just got these at Target. Baby! Oh, they're delicious. They're so freaking good. And it's so funny because it's always like a coin flip with my ADHD. I'm either gonna have a lot of energy. Randomly, I'm gonna get the zoomies when I drink caffeine, or I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna knock out. It's like no in between. It's always like Russian roulette, I swear. Okay, next palette we're using is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. She's ugly. I'm gonna show you guys. She looks beat up. She is a war veteran. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love her. She is very well used. And again, even when I switch up my makeup look like a little bit, I'm always using this. I'm always using my bronzer palette. So I go in with a little fluffy brush, just like the first one, but this one's gonna be smaller and denser, like more compact. Any brush will do, honestly. Like, I'm not super picky. This is another Morphe veteran brush. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. And again, I have green eyes and red tones look slay and gorgeous. Color theory is a thing, ladies. If you ever want to know what looks good with your eye color, a makeup artist, cosmetologist tip that I've learned over the years, just go to the color wheel, Google color wheel, and whatever color your eye is directly across from it, that's gonna be the color that makes your eyes pop the most. If you have hazel eyes and you have a bunch of different colors, you have a bigger, obviously, variety of what you can use. Being in there, and you are going to knock off your excess. Patrick Ta's shadows are amazing. The fallout's not really, really bad. You're going to pack in the outer V. And again, you're gonna be messy. It's gonna look crazy. We're going to not fix it, but adjust. So you're gonna pack it, and then you are going to kind of blow it out, but you wanna concentrate most of that pigment on the outer portion of your lid up into like your pupil, and then you're gonna like wing it out where we had that other shadow blown out. You see what I'm doing? Is it making sense, y'all? Is it? It's been a minute since I've been talking about makeup. I used to do makeup videos on YouTube, and here are some pictures of the thumbnails of what I used to do. And I archived them. They were on this literal YouTube channel, and I might unarchive them or react to like my old YouTube videos because a lot of them were super cringe, but it was just the time. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing on this eye, and I'm gonna answer the next question. Books on your TBR that you're most excited for. Honestly, I could tell you a million, and then my mind freaking goes blank, of course, when I'm reading that. I've become such a freaking mood reader this year, I swear. It's like actually insane. But off the top of my head, I'm super excited to finish reading the Renaverse. Like, I actually can't wait. I want to finish reading all of Elsie Silver's books. I'm gonna read Gold Rush Ranch, and I'm always down. Oh, Penelope Douglas, she's one of my favorites. I've only read the Devil's Night series and Birthday Girl, and I consider her a freaking favorite. So I definitely want to read all of her books eventually. Oh, I do want to read Darkmoor Penitentiary because that is another series from Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. They wrote Zodiac Academy, so I'm super excited to finish and never keep. I'm really excited to finish that world. I need to get back into From Blood and Ash and the Light and the Flame series, or Flame and Shadow series, I can't remember. I was tandem reading those series last year and then I quit because I just kind of lost interest, but it was still good. Like, I'm so down bad for Castile. So I need to get back to Castile and Poppy's Journey because I'm like literally in the middle of that. So I wouldn't say I have a TBR. I always have a TBR. It's like never ending, but I feel like I'm just like going where the wind takes me these days, which is so funny because I'm like a retired control freak, I swear. And even when it came to reading, like last year, I would be so crazy about like making sure I read stuff in order. And now I'll be starting a series and I'll be forgetting that I even started the series and then I'll be reading something else. But yeah, pretty much the ones I mentioned I'm really excited to get to. But honestly, I go where the wind takes me. And Kindle Unlimited, she gets me in trouble. Okay, you're gonna go back in with that fluffy brush that we used to do the first shadow, and it has nothing on it. You're just going to kind of melt these babies together. This might feel stupid, but you are just blending them all together. And I know we look insane, trust me, I know, but it is just going to marry everything together and it's just gonna blow it out really freaking nice. Okay, the next palette we're going to do is, what is this one even called? This is the Dior Backstage palette in the shades Warm Neutrals. I love her, and if I'm doing a cool tone look, I will use this one a lot too, but I pretty much use this with the shimmer. You can see what shades I really loved. We're gonna go in with this one, and again, it just depends. I like to switch up what shimmers I use, but we're gonna go in with this. It is like a champagne color. Super shimmery, super cute, and literally, guess what Mama's going in with? Her finger. Yeah. You're just gonna go in with your finger, and I literally go in on half my lid first. So I stamp with my finger. These shadows are great with a brush or your finger. So I'm just gonna stamp a little bit. See how that brightens it up? Yes, we love. So you're gonna stamp. I feel like I'm also like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but my mirror's down here, you know? So you're gonna stamp with your finger. I'm gonna go in with another bullet brush. This one's different than the one we did under the eye. This one's like a little looser and fluffier. You're gonna go in with that champagne shade, really pack it on there, knock a little bit of the excess off, and I literally take it in like the innermost inner corner of my eye. A little closer, you're going to literally stamp. And I like to kind of carve out where I want my crease because I have hooded eyes sometimes, but I like to fake because my eyes swell because of my autoimmune. So you never know. Sometimes I might have a sleigh hooded eye and sometimes only one eye's hooded. But the point is, I like my crease to always be in the same spot, even if my eyes have fluid in them or they're swelling. So I will take a little bullet brush with the shimmer and I will tell that crease where she's gonna go, babe. I don't give her an option. You don't get to choose. I get to choose. So I will do, just like carve her out, period. See how I kind of carved that out? I just told her where to go. And don't worry, it's not gonna look so crazy. Just stick with me. Stick with me. Stay with me, team. So I'll carve that out. And then I'll take my finger again. I get messy with it. I'll take my finger again and I'll say, hey, we need a little more here. And then I'll do that. And honestly, for this look, I'll just have some fun with you guys. Sometimes I'll just do that shimmer and we'll be good. But since this is like a fun little video, sometimes if I want extra sparkle in my videos to like reflect, I will use the Patrick Ta Major, God, this print is small, Major Dimension Eye Illusion Eyeshadow Duo in the shade Still at the Club. These, everybody was like flaming him on TikTok because of how expensive, but they're super reflective. They're a formula that you have to use with your finger because they're bouge. They're bouge and they're worth the money in my opinion. But I used the top shade. There is not a dupe for these. Everybody was like, e.l.f. dupes. I love the e.l.f. shimmer ones. I like that idea. But for me, some things you cannot replicate. So I take a little on my finger and I will go over that shimmer. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but look at the last clip of my eye with that shimmer on it. And then take a little peek at that. Can you guys see? I don't know what you see, but it's shimmery, it's slay, it's gorgeous, and it just adds a little extra dusting of gorgeousness. And then I will take, after we do that, I'm gonna take my fluffy brush, the same one. I call this the eraser. The eraser and the blender because it has powder on it from, you know, whatever. And I just go, I don't go over the shimmer, but I go around the edges of where we place the shimmer and I'm just like, hey girl, Is everybody getting along here? And you blend her out, okay? So we're gonna do the exact same thing to the other eye, and I'm gonna answer another question when we do that. Next question, who's your go-to author if you're in a slump? So honestly, if I'm in a slump, Rena Kent. Rena does not miss. She really doesn't. So I would say Rena Kent. I would say Penelope Douglas if you haven't read Birthday Girl, because freaking Birthday Girl. Yeah, I would reread Birthday Girl if I was in a slump again. Emily Rath. She writes the Jacksonville Rays series. She wrote Pucking Around, Pucking Wild, and Pucking Sweet. I'm ready for her new MM romance coming. I'm going to be gagged and I'm going to flip out. So I would definitely read Emily Rath. I love her writing. It's so fun, and she is just... she writes a slutty little book, and I love it. So yeah, I would say Emily Rath, Penelope Douglas, Rena Kent, and Sarah J. Maas. Just pick up ACOTAR again. That's honestly the next thing that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna freaking do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I would say. Okay, next step, we're gonna go back into our Patrick Ta eyeshadow in that exact same shade we put in the outer V. I use this shade honestly the most because we're about to do our shadow liner. It depends. Sometimes I'll be using a liquid eyeliner. Today, I'm going to probably use pencil and this, but I'm just gonna, for right now, show you guys the shadow liner because that truly is what like sculpts it and brings everything together. So I'm gonna use that same shade that I used in the outer V. It's that like burnt red. I'm gonna use a compacted flat eyeshadow brush. This is another Morphe War Veteran. I'm gonna dip it in, take it, and I follow my lower lash line. So where your lower lash line is, I'm gonna draw a line that goes just like that. It does not have to be perfect. When people ask me, how do you get your, is that eyeliner or whatever? Be messy. Because again, you have this brush that we've been using to get fallout off of our eyes. I'm gonna show you guys a really great trick. So take your flat brush, dip her in, knock off the excess a little bit, follow your lower lash line so you know where to do your eyeshadow. This is also awesome if you have super watery eyes like me. Oh my god, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Let me get a smaller mirror so you guys can see. So follow your lower lash line. Sometimes you can go a little bit higher. And you're gonna start with a little line. Do you see that? Thick. It's thick, it's fat, it's not, you know, it's not slay at all. But you're gonna just stamp it right there, just like I did. And then this brush, all eyeshadow is gonna fall out, especially when you're using a lot. So you're just gonna use your little fallout brush. After you stamp a little line, you are going to follow your lower lash line. And I kind of do like a buffer movement like that. So you're just gonna buffer her, and I go underneath my entire eye. So this is darker than the bronzer that we really put under our eye, but you're just gonna like go underneath that thing. And you're gonna just dig all up in there. You see that? You see that? Yeah. Do you see? And we look very scary, but do you see how my eyes are already like jumping at you? Yes, because this works. This method is slay. You're just gonna buff. After we have our fat line, that doesn't look super slay, but just bear with me, team, bear with me. You are going to dip again, and you are going to stamp. So you're gonna do a stamp dragging motion. So stamp it down, drag it across back and forth. I personally, because remember how we made our fake crease? I personally go pretty thick, because my fake crease is up here causing brightness, you know what I mean, with the shimmer. So I go pretty thick because I like a sultry, blown out, smoky, kind of grunge vibe. That's my vibe right now. Sometimes I want to be a pretty princess and have no smoke, but this is my go-to filming, so this is what we're starting with. If you guys want to see something that's less whatever, let me know, but this is literally my go-to when you guys are like, oh my god. I'm telling you, once it comes together, it doesn't look this crazy. So just, this is like, so trust the process. And I think the messier the better. I think when makeup's a little too structured, I don't know, I just like a little messy energy. Take this, and where your line is with the one on top and the line over here, you're gonna like connect it. Just connect it like a little bit. Make this line a little more defined. Sometimes I do add liquid liner to like make this line look really dark. And then you're gonna do this. You're gonna like connect it up there, and then you're gonna take this and you are going to brush where that line is, because we don't want it super harsh, but we want a little line there. So if your line's thick and you're like, oh, I didn't do my line right, have your eraser brush, okay? I'm gonna repeat it on the other eye, and I'm gonna answer another question. This is so hard. Top 5 characters of all time. Oh my gosh, how do you pick? I've read so many great series. Number 1, just because if you guys watched my book boyfriend video, it's gonna be a bunch of boys and women too, don't get me wrong, but damn, I didn't even think about that. If they're couples, do they count as one character? I'm just gonna say yes. Okay. except Nesta. Okay, number 1 is Resand. Number 1 is Resand. He is the love of my life. I fell back in love with reading because of him, so he's always going to be number 1. I would say Farah, but I didn't really love Farah from ACOTAR. So number 2 is going to probably be Nesta, because I could talk about Nesta forever. Nesta saved me in more ways than one, babe. She really did. And I feel like she's a very flawed character, but I love her. I will always love her. And yeah, she's everything to me. So number 2 would probably be Nesta. Number 3, Darius A. Crux and Tori. Actually, Darius Vega and Tori Vega. Because Tori is me and I am her, 1000%. And they're a couple. So I'm going to count them as one unit. Next, oh my God. Sitting here trying to think, because it's like so, all this series, Throne of Glass, I'm gonna have to say Aelin Galathynius. And these aren't really in order, I guess. These are just, except Resand is like number 1. I'm gonna have to say Aelin Galathynius. She's everything to me. So I'm definitely gonna have to say Aelin Galathynius. And I'm gonna have to say Manon, because she gave everything to the 13, and then they gave everything back to her. And if you haven't read Throne of Glass, please God do it. So yeah, so that would be 5, right? Rhys, Darius, and Tori. They're 1, sorry. They're a couple, they're 1, they're married, okay, whatever. Aelin Galathynius, Manon. Oh, and I said Nesta. There's my 5. Next, we are done with both eyes with the shadow liner. I will go in with 2. Sometimes I switch it up, sometimes I do a liquid liner, but today we are going to do a black and like a brown shimmer. So we're gonna go in with, these are my favorite liners in the whole world, pencils. Nothing compares to these. I've tried dupes, I've tried whatever. Makeup Forever is the only one. I don't have it with me. It's in my professional kit, but Makeup Forever is the only one that can hold a candle to these, but these are my ride or dies. So they're the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencils. I am gonna use one in 0, shade 0, which is just black. Of course she's not sharpened. That's the only thing I hate about a pencil liner. Like, who has time to sharpen their freaking liners? But I love this formula, so whatever. I'm complaining, but am I still gonna use it? Yeah, absolutely. So you're gonna take your black liner, and I switch this up, it just depends on the day, but this is something I love. I will tight line, like your waterline, on my upper lash line. So you're not creating this thick psycho line, you are tight lining the upper waterline. And this is kind of hard to show you guys up close. And you're gonna go all the way into the inner corner. Tight line the upper, and my eyes are really sensitive, so they're gonna look bloodshot. I look fried. Oh my God, and it kind of tickles bad. Grungy, smoky, but you do not wanna do some thick looking liner. You just want a tight line. Do you see how different that looks? Okay, that's what we're gonna do up top. And then we're gonna take our smoky brown. This shade, love it. Sometimes I'll literally just do this with like a bronzer in my crease and I love it. This is same brand, same kind of liner from Urban Decay in the shade Smog. This is like a shimmery brown. It's stunning, it's gorgeous, and she's sharpened, thank God. And you are gonna put this in the lower lash line. And I really go in, and I kind of go a little lower, like to where my bottom lashes are. You see that? See the difference? This one's softer and blown out. And sometimes I won't do a liner, but today I'm doing it because I just love the look. Please smear it out. And then you think you're done? No, you're not. No, you're not, love. You're gonna take your palette again, what we did that shadow liner with, after you do this, because it's like a waxy material, very thick. You're gonna dip into that same red shade, and you are going to, don't get it on your waterline, but you're gonna stamp some extra product. And all this is gonna do, not on top, just on the bottom. All this is gonna do is just give like a little insurance, I like to call it. Insurance, and you're like, hey girl, stamp her on there. You see that? She's stamped and she's secure. I'm gonna do the other eye while I talk to you guys. We're gonna answer another question. Favorite dark romances? Babe, there's so many. I'm gonna start off and be basic and say Haunting Adeline. I freaking love Haunting Adeline. It's dark. Check your trigger warnings, but if you're a dark romance girly, Haunting Adeline. The entire Legacy of God series, I can't even pick one. Anything by Rena Kent, basically. Ugh. Penelope Douglas, the Devil's Night series, 1000%. Birthday Girl, freaking love. Okay, we are done with our eyes, except for mascara. And you might think, oh, okay, awesome, that's all I need to know about eyes. No, this is what's gonna tie everything together. you are going to go back into your Essence bronzing palette and we're gonna add our bronzer. So I did my cream and a little bit of my powder contour, but this is like what helps the eyes. So like, even though this isn't a part of the eyes, this is how it makes your eyeshadow. Cause see how like, we've got really, really warm eyeshadow, really, really dark, and then this lighting's terrible. The face is just kind of separate from it. We're gonna marry the two, okay? So you're gonna go in with this. I go in with this shade right here. I probably could use this one because I'm tanner, but I just use this one and I go in with a little fluffy brush. I am messy with it, especially in the summer. I like a sun kiss. You're just gonna take it on your cheekbone, take it into my hairline, and then I'm gonna go just like a little beep, beep, beep on the bridge of my nose. I like that look. I like a sun-kissed, messy situation. My next question is, best piece of advice you've ever received. This came from my therapist. This is such a general statement she gave me, and it applies to anything. She literally asked me, and this sounds really stupid, but she said, what's the worst that could happen? Because I was like, basically talking about setting boundaries and stuff like that, or just being myself, or finding my passion in life, or trying new things. And she would always be like, and it always pissed me off. She'd be like, what's the worst that could happen? And I'd be like, girl, what do you mean? And then she would have me go through all of the things, write them all down, or verbally say them. And she'd be like, okay, are you scared of rejection? Are you scared of hate? Are you scared of somebody saying something? Are you scared of vulnerability? Like, what are you scared of? And after I wrapped my brain around that and applied it to everything, whether it be setting a boundary with family, setting a boundary with my friends, picking things in life that I want to do, or make content, don't make content, talk about things, don't talk about things, explore new hobbies. It could literally apply to anything. Anxiety is so crazy that it can really like work all these things up in your head. But if you actually sit and think for a minute and be like, actually, what is the worst thing that could happen? Write it all down, pinpoint what you're most afraid of and why, and recognize it instead of just like, let anxiety make it this ugly monster. You really start to realize like, oh my God, like I'm worried about things on paper, but have they happened? And then you ask yourself, have the things that I'm most scared of happened? 9 times out of 10, it's no. Have they happened in the past? And that's what I would tell her. I'm like, well, in the past this happened. And she's like, life and things are like a rope. Scary things are like a rope. If you constantly pull those things towards you, they're gonna come towards you. The rope is gonna end up falling down. And that's just the best advice ever, because I apply it still now to so many things. And she's like, genuinely, what's the worst thing that could happen? And she also said, this kind of goes on to it, not only is like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, what are you scared of? And is what you're scared of worth not doing what you want to do because of something that hasn't even happened? Because it's not easy to just not have anxiety. That's not what she was saying, but that really helped me. I was like, girl, not you devouring. And then she was also like, not just, that's not even bad and it hasn't happened. And even if it happened in the past, let go of that, live in the present, and just do it anyway. Like literally just do it. And then she said, if something happens, say you're setting a boundary with somebody, say you're doing something uncomfortable and you feel weird, practice sitting in the uncomfortable. So that was another thing she said. Practice sitting in the uncomfortable, sit in it. See what happens. Or say you're having a conversation. I am so ADHD, I love to talk and fill conversations, and like, I like my anxiety, my social anxiety, I'd be like talking, yapping my butt off with somebody, and then all of a sudden I'd say something and I'm like, why did I even say that? But I said that to like fill the silence. So I tell her that and she'd be like, practice being uncomfortable. Practice it. And the more you practice it, it's like working out. It's like strengthening a muscle. Sit in it. Put yourself in situations that are uncomfortable. Post the stupid TikTok video. Do the thing that you want to do, but you're scared to do. It's like exposure therapy. And then do an experiment. Like literally try one experiment and then sit in it and make yourself be really uncomfortable, and then watch how it's not a big deal, because 9 times out of 10 it's not a freaking big deal as long as you're not a danger to yourself or others, you know, obviously. And then do it again and again and again and again and again. And that's period. Because you know what? We all feel stupid. We all feel cringe. It's like that Euphoria thing where she's like, I used to feel stupid. You know what I'm talking about? That's the best advice I've ever been given. It literally changed my life. And 9 times out of 10, when you have anxiety about what people think about you, what they say about you, they could be thinking these things. They could be saying these things, but it's not your job to overthink and have anxiety about these things. That gets in the way of your potential. It gets in the way of your hobbies. It gets in the way of your friendships. Just live. Just try to practice that. That was the best advice ever, because after I started literally thinking, like, anxiety is such an angry beast that it can make you like genuinely feel like you're in fight or flight all the time. And that was the best advice ever. Identifying what you're really scared of, whether it comes to like fear of something that hasn't happened, fear of something that's happened in the past, whatever. Identifying your fear putting yourself in situations that you're uncomfortable in or you're scared in and becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable and just challenging yourself and then doing it over and over and practicing it and exercising it like a muscle. And that can apply to everything. That can apply to reading a new genre. That could apply to making new friends or putting yourself out there or becoming vulnerable or making content or being silly or just healing your inner child. It could literally apply to so many things. That is the best advice, and any big sister advice I would give to you guys. I am a big sister myself. I have a little brother. If I ever could give advice to anybody, that's what I would say. I would literally say, identify what you're uncomfortable with, what you're scared of. Sometimes it's not good to like focus on the negative, but I don't think that's focusing on the negative. I think it's just having a conversation with yourself, looking inward and like communicating with yourself. Journal it out, babe, or be like me, talk to yourself out loud. I do that all the time. Okay, so we did our bronzer. We went ahead and bronzed like our nose, did whatever. The next thing, this goes along with just making your eyeshadow blend so seamlessly. You're gonna go in with a blush. I really like a cool toned pink blush. So this is She's That Girl by Patrick Ta. Take a little tiny brush like this, dip into the blush, and I'm telling you guys, this isn't eyeshadow, but it helps bring everything together. If you just have eyeshadow and your face is so different than your eyes, you're gonna be able to tell, hey, orange eyeshadow, hey, regular face. So I take this and I stamp it underneath my eye, up next to, you know how we blew that eye out with that bronzer? Hey, right up next. Go in, go where that eyeshadow line is. And sometimes I get so much powder in here, I lose my liner, so I can go back in and sharpen that. But you're just gonna literally stamp. Stamp, 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 stamp. Take it up high, and then I also take a little bit left over and I just put it on my chin on the other side. So I'm gonna answer another question while I do the other side. What made you get into reading books? Love your videos, love you. I have always been into reading. So when I was younger, I used to love reading freaking everything. I read 50 Shades Grey in high school. I would stay up late reading. I would make it happen. I loved Aragon, I loved dragon books. I loved to read all the things when I was younger, when I was a kid. I've always loved reading. I loved reading in elementary school, in middle school, in high school. I've always been obsessed, but I obviously, like, adulting and life got in the way. You know what I mean? Just like everything does. Also, going on with another blush, a darker one. So you do the under the eye, and then I'm gonna take a darker one. This is NARS Orgasm X. Not the regular Orgasm, the Orgasm X. It's a little more red. And I'm just going to put that on the apples of my cheek. So yeah, I've always been obsessed with reading, but I was in a really, really, really bad mental state before I went to therapy, and just a lot of things. I think as your frontal lobe develops and you get older, you're just like, ah, what's going on? So in 2023, everybody and their mom had read ACOTAR, and I posted it on my Snapchat, and I was like, oh my God, guys. Also, going on with the powder brush, I use to set my powder. This has nothing on it, but I just like to go over and blend. So this is super important, so we're gonna blend. So while I blend, we're gonna talk. So yeah, I was super in a really dark mental place, and I found ACOTAR, and it literally changed me on a chemical level. I fell back into reading. It became addicting again for me, and it just brought me back to life, and it saved my mental health. And after that, it was so funny because I wanted to get that feeling again. Like I was chasing that feeling. And yeah, ACOTAR started it again because I was always obsessed when I was younger and I was a kid. And like Nesta's book specifically really, really healed so many things in me. And I know not everybody, you know, is affected as deeply by ACOTAR. And I know everyone's like, ACOTAR's so basic now, whatever. But yeah, I read ACOTAR, and then I read Throne of Glass, then I read Crescent City. So I worked my way through the Massiverse. And then I want to say Fourth Wing was the next book I read after that. And then I was trying to work my way through like the staples, the book talk staples, you know what I mean? And then this year, 2025, so all of 2024 was just a time. She was a time. And this year is the first year that I have been, especially my friend Kaylee, she has helped throw in, she told me to read a sports romance last year. My first one was Pucking Around by Emily Rath. And I was like, I don't want, first of all, I don't like sports. I like football. That's it. I used to be a huge Patriots fan, whatever. So I was like, I don't know. That feels so weird. That's like out of my comfort zone. That was the best thing I did. That kind of goes back into the advice that I was just talking about. If you think you're not going to like something, just try it and shut up. Just shut up and try it and just have a good time. And I did. And you know what? It was the best time. I started reading sports romance, dark romance. Haunting Adeline was my first dark romance, by the way. Oh my God, so good. And then I just started trying to read new books. And like now, The question a while back was like, what's on your TBR? Baby, I don't know. I'm going where the wind takes me. ACOTAR started it, and now I'm just having fun with it. I do want to read more serious things, obviously, but at the same time, I'm like reading silly books, reading smut, reading dark books. I feel like books are healing, and I think you just need to remember to have fun with it. And yeah, I don't even remember what the question was. What got you back into reading? ACOTAR. That's the short answer. We put our blush on, we blended it together before I do my eyebrows, because again, when I do my eyebrows, I'm probably gonna do them off camera. I'm gonna tell you guys what I do, but this is like the messy blending. We wanna blend everything together. If I'm filming in like an outfit that shows my chest, I will highlight my chest. So I'm gonna show you guys. I go in with this Tarte, I've had this forever, it's probably expired, Maracuja Juicy palette. I go in with this really dark pink, it's an eyeshadow technically, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna put it where I want. And I go in with like a fluffy highlighting brush, and I will dust on the apples of my cheek, and I will go up here. Again, you're messy with it. This is the vibe. I will be messy with it. Again, at this point you can look and you're like, does my eyeliner need to be a little more tight lined? This is how my makeup routine is. Messy. I'll take a little bit here. And then, again, I do have a highlighter, but this is just what I like to use. I'll go in with my MAC Connect in Color palette, but it does not have to be this. This is an eyeshadow, and I'm using it as a highlighter. So be free, do what you want. I'm gonna use this like golden shimmer, and I take a little bit on my finger. And again, I was in the 2016 makeup era, okay? I'm 27. I've been around the YouTube days, the Jaclyn Hill days, the J Love Mac 1 days, the Nicole Guerrero days. I am a MAC girl, I am a makeup girl, so I like a little nose highlight. So I take it on my finger, and I will go on my nose. I will go on my nose with my finger, super highlighted. I'll dip in there, I'll go on my upper lip, my chin, the high points of my cheeks, and then I will take, this one's a little more bronze, it's another eyeshadow, and I will go in this keyhole here. I will go on my collarbones, and sometimes if I'm wearing like a little strapless, I will take it on my shoulder. I do have a whole body glow routine. This is the lazy version, okay? But this makes all your makeup connect and everything looks slay and gorgeous. And then I'll take my powder brush that has nothing on it, and I will just dot everything. The next thing we're gonna do is freckles. This is for the acne girls. And if you're not an acne girl and you just want freckles, you can do this too. You don't have to have acne, but this is a hack. I will tell everybody. I think I made a TikTok about this. I have cystic acne. I'm 27. A 27-year-old teenager, and I still have acne. It's gorgeous. It's stunning. I'm gonna go in with the Patrick Ta cream shadow. This is the same palette we've been using. It's a cream brown shadow, and I'm gonna go in with like a little lip brush, actually, is what it technically is. And I'm gonna dip into the cream shadow. I've got a lot of hormonal breakouts right now because I'm in my luteal phase, my ugly face. So I'm gonna dip in there, and where I have a pimple, where I have something raised up, not every one of my pimples, because I got a lot of pimples going on, because it's already raised up, it's gonna give that illusion of an actual freckle or like a mole, you know what I mean? I have natural mole, I have a natural mole right here, I have a couple right here. When you put makeup on, it covers your moles. So my natural moles, I will take this and I will just boop, boop, boop. So that's what we're gonna do now. I just do like a little dot. Do you see that? I don't know if you can even see that on camera. It just brings her to life. Down here, I got a big, massive tumor of a pimple. There we go. Sometimes if my breakouts are really bad, I'll put a filter on, but I really like not having a filter. I like the skin to look like skin, and this way, we're so full coverage, we have so many products, but this helps the foundation and the makeup not look so makeup-y. And it just depends. It depends on the day, how many moles I wanna have, how many little pimples I have, and sometimes, it's so funny, if I don't have a lot of pimples to work with, I'll be kinda sad, because the pimples help with the illusion of the freckle. And I've had people say to me, like, in school, because I've done this forever. I've had people be like, you don't have a mole there. What happened? It is my mole. I put it on my face, so it's mine, isn't it? So yeah, that's just a life hack. If your skin isn't skinning, or if you just want to make the skin look like skin again, definitely do that. And then again, we'll go back in with our powder brush, and I'll just beep, 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 dollop on top, okay? Stunning, gorgeous. Okay, so next we're gonna do brows, but I'm gonna do them off camera because it takes me forever to do them, and this is about eyeshadow, and everybody does their brows differently. But I'm just gonna tell you what I use. So I use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is in the shade Ash Brown. And then I use, do not judge me, I need to buy another one, but don't judge me, okay? This is the Anastasia Brow Powder Duo. She's ugly, okay? I use it in the shade Dark Brown. And for brushes, I use this, doesn't even have a name on it, but it's just an angled brow brush, powder brush. And then this one is from Anastasia. It has a little spoolie on the end and a little thingy. If you guys want an in-depth brow tutorial, let me know, but that's gonna take a long time. And then I use the e.l.f. brow laminating gel. I either use this to set them or I use Edge Control, Eco Edge Control. You can literally get it at Walmart. And I really like that. It doesn't flake, it doesn't transfer, and it adds texture back to the brows. But yeah, I'm gonna do my brows off camera and I'll be right back. Guess whose camera died while I was in the middle of doing my mascara. My brows are done, by the way, but if you guys want a tutorial on that, I'll make like a mini tutorial because it takes a really long time and it's very boring to me. But yeah, I did my mascara. I have a very OCD psychotic way of doing mascara, and you can see, not to be like a freak, but I have long lashes. I feel like it's genetics. They're very long. They're very thin, but they're very long. But I also have a routine. I just used one mascara. It wouldn't give this, you know what I mean? What I use first, I use 3 different kinds. I use the L'Oreal Telescopic in Carbon Black. It's rubbed off, you can't see. I use Essence Lash Princess, and then Essence I Heart Extreme Volume Mascara. So this is what I literally do first. I take the I Heart Extreme Volume Mascara. It's so thick, and then I like wipe it off, and then I go wiggle it on the root of my lashes. While that's still wet, I take the Lash Princess, and this brush is like more like angled and stuff, and I take it like up, I wiggle that, and then when it's super sloppy and wet and nasty, I take the L'Oreal Telescopic one because it has like a long skinny brush, and then I comb the lashes to kind of like break them apart. And then on my lower lashes, I only use the Lash Princess. And then I take my pinkies and I don't use a lash curler. I've always done this literally since high school, actually probably middle school. While the mascara is like damp, I will literally like curl them. And I was gonna freaking show you guys this, but I'll just have to do it in another tutorial, I guess. And it just curls them up. And if you do it when the mascara is still like damp, then they harden like that. And sometimes I'll even take a blow dryer and go, but that's if I'm being like really crazy. But anyway, okay, we are moving on. Lips, I have used this for like, I'm not even actually kidding. How old am I? 27. I've used this for like 13 years. Like, I'm not kidding. It's MAC Whirl lip liner. And I literally just line my lips like normal. This is super boring, so I'm probably gonna speed this part up, but I will line them all and I'll show you guys. To do a super thick line, my lips are super chapped and crusty, by the way, so I'm gonna show you guys what I do. Sometimes I'll switch my lip up and use a different liner, but this is like 9 times out of 10 what I have on my lips. I just will switch up like the gloss. Sometimes I'll do the Laneige lip mask. It's just like the normal one because, again, Sjogren syndrome, my autoimmune makes me dry as a Sahara. So sometimes I'll just literally do this and plop on this lip mask because it's like pink tinted and it's really pretty and it makes my lips look really juicy. But today I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna show you guys when I want to be like super full glam. I will use the Kim KW, but it's Charlotte Tilbury. It's a lipstick. This is one of the lipsticks I wore on my wedding day. It's super pale pink and I love it, but I will just take it and I'll blot it. And I'm like a little blot. I'll do that. And then I'll go back in with my liner because I don't like it to look too pale. Like, I don't want to be concealer lips, you know what I mean? I'll go back in and kind of put the whirl on the edges of my actual lips, not just the line. Get it a little darker. Blot it together. And sometimes if I'm feeling matte, I will leave it matte. But today, I'm a mouth breather, so they're crusty, so I need a little extra. So I will either go in with this or I'll show you guys my gloss that I like literally live by. This is, again, this has been a staple forever and ever and ever. My mother-in-law put me on to Buxom glosses. This gloss is so sticky and stays on for so long. So shout out to you, T, love you. She put me onto this one. It is in the shade White Russian and I love it. It's super pale and icy and shimmery. And everyone's like, what lip is that? You gotta have these 3. But these are, it's just like an icy, like, ooh, pale. And then the very last step, I switch up on my setting sprays literally all the time. I really like the e.l.f. one. So today, the one I have right now, is the Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. So I freaking love this. So I will go literally in. This is a new one, okay? This one is so fine that I prefer more of like a soaked situation. Oh my God, a little drop just got on me. That's great. I didn't know that happened. I prefer more of like a heavy setting spray, but I'm liking this one for sure. It's dewy, and I'm definitely in my dewy era because my skin is so dry. You need a handheld fan. I gifted these to all of my lash clients to dry their lashes, obviously, because I do lash extensions. And I bought one for myself because I'm like, yeah, I don't have lash extensions, but when I do my makeup, this is like a godsend. And usually I'll do like a couple, like I'll dry it. That's another makeup cosmetologist tip hack. Do layers of setting spray. So do one layer, dry it, and then do another layer, dry it. Because the more setting spray, it's like it will melt everything together. Here's the final look. I told you guys we were gonna be really scary until we looked good. I love this look for when I'm filming content or when I just want something to come out the same every time. I feel like my style has changed over the years. This is just my go-to. It's very sultry, it's very blown out. I'm trying to give you like a it's just very sultry, it's very blown out, and this is not going to be for everybody, so adjust this to how you like. But for me, I feel like for my eye color, for my face shape, I just love the way this looks, and I really love like a sexy, sultry, like you can't really tell where the eyeshadow ends and where the face makeup ends. Like, I mean, obviously you can, but that's why I tell you guys, I'm like, it's more than just eyeshadow. I feel like everything together kind of just, you know, is in sync. But yeah, this is the final look. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and watching me do my makeup, because I haven't done a makeup video on YouTube especially in a really long time, and this was so fun. And I love that I combined books and makeup because I feel like beauty used to be such a really big part of my life, and I still love makeup. I always say I'm a lover of all things books, home, and beauty. This was so much fun getting to combine the two, and also for all the girls asking for a makeup tutorial, here she is. Like I said, I might adjust a couple things, but this is just the bulletproof stable makeup for me personally. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and as always, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!